What do you say to a senior leader in a business who says, Jodi, Dan, why do I need critical controls? I've got life-saving rules.
Expect that your system will continue to fail for your frontline if all you're doing is managing the behaviours around the frontline workers, which is what life-saving rules are. There's so much more to preventing fatalities than setting expectations for the frontline. What we know about each of the controls that the frontline use every day is that they are heavily dependent on whether the organisation has done their part to make sure those controls are available, maintained, suitable, there's enough of them. All of those things drive the frontline to be able to do the right thing at the right time with the right controls.
I think life-saving rules, when you go through every single risk and every single control that is critical, like life-saving rules will miss entire controls. Like, for example, every company's got a driving life-saving rule, and that covers things like I might have done my pre-start on the vehicle, I'm fit to drive, I'm not speeding, I'm not using my mobile phone. The life-saving rule won't cover something like a safety berm on the side of the road. And if you go through a bow tie process, that probably is a critical control for almost all surface mines. That berm is not in the life-saving rule at all. So I think relying on life-saving rules or using them just as your critical controls, you'll miss entire controls as well.
And we'd also say that they're not mutually exclusive either, aren't they? A good critical control program, some of those controls, or at least elements of those controls, will be picking up some of those life-saving rules as well. But what you're also doing is just adding so much more defences and depth into the system rather than that one defence sitting at the front line.
Yeah, it's certainly not one thing or another. A good critical control program will absolutely identify the human acts, like the frontline life-saving rules or whatever you call them in your business.
And I think the way they're normally written is they'll be like that very frontline application of the control. It might say something like, I will isolate and verify zero energy before work. What your critical control and performance standard will do is take that first requirement and say, yes, we need to isolate, verify zero energy before work. But there's a whole lot of other requirements that go along with that, making sure people are trained and understand how to isolate and verify zero energy, making sure they've got the right isolation points to actually do it, making sure the permit system's all set up to support them. So the life-saving rule, it will feature in the critical control performance standard, but it'll be the one sentence or one requirement out of a whole lot of other supporting requirements as well.
So it's not an either or. You don't have to choose. So to go down a critical control path, you don't have to throw out your life-saving rule program.
No, they're very complementary to each other.